What's going on, everyone in YouTube? Well, this is the Cockney bike. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. A little bit cloudy today, but then promising that it's not going to rain, at least not until midnight tonight. So I'm taking them at their word on this weather forecast. Alright, so there are some of you Cockney crew who are new bikers, or you've just recently passed your MSF course, or you've just recently got an endorsement on your license to ride a motorcycle. 10 things you want to know about having just passed your riding test. Cue the intro. Number 1, do not buy a brand new motorcycle. I mean, that pretty much is an obvious statement, but it's so easy to, like, once you've got an endorsement, to run off to a dealership and go and buy yourself like the latest 20 whatever year this is motorcycle, because you know they're brand new. But the thing is that they're expensive. You can always get something second hand, and guaranteed you're going to drop the bike. So you seriously want to consider not buying a brand new bike, just by virtue of the fact that there's every chance that, like, you're going to come a cropper. So, you know, find yourself a decent second hand bike. Number 2, there is more than one type of motorcycle. Now, I say that because it's easy to, like, think, well, I like the look of these super sports, or I like the look of these cruisers, or I like the look of these types of bikes, and they might be totally not suitable for your needs. So try out a few. If you've got friends who've got motorcycles, try their bikes out. You never know, you might feel like I don't know, you might feel like a cruiser will be much better for you than a sports bike. You might find like a dual sport might be better for you than a cruiser. You know, just because the posters look sexy doesn't mean it's right for you. Give them all a try. Number 3, try not to use dealership financing. Look, I know it's convenient because they can do 72 and 84 months, but I tell you, they sting you something fierce on the interest rates. If it's possible, go to a credit union, get a secured loan from them. It'll be a lot cheaper. If anything, try to borrow from, if you're a good payer, I mean, if someone knows you're good for the money, borrow the money privately to get yourself a bike if you can't afford it yourself. Do everything you can to avoid having to go through the dealership finances. It might be easier to get a loan from them if you've got bad credit, but you will pay for it. I've known too many people who have been stuck with bikes that they did not want, paying an outrageous fee for that bike, upside down on it for, like, you know, 3 years, and can't get rid of it. They're not touchable. So do be careful about that. Number 4, try to stay away from getting yourself one of those super sports bikes, at least for a couple of years. You've only just got your license, and you still are learning quite a few things. You jump on one of those bikes, you've got an incredibly high chance of killing yourself. You know, start with something like that's manageable, easy to ride, and you can still have fun with, like, a couple of years down the road. The best bike I know for that, I'm being biased here because I own one, or at least Shay owns one, and that's the Vulcan S650. Very easy to ride, very forgiving bike, can easily pull a ton, more than a ton, that's 100 miles an hour, but doesn't have a turbo engine. It's very forgiving. Don't fall into that little trap where it's like you get an M on your license or you get an endorsement and you just absolutely have to go off and buy that H2. Give it a couple of years. Seriously, you'll be doing yourself a favour. Number 5, shop around for insurance. Look, if you go off half-cocked and you run to a dealership and buy yourself a bike, despite all the advice not to get anything brand new, they're not going to let you ride that thing off the lot without insurance. So 9 times out of 10, they've got their own little insurance company that they'll use. Now, it might be handy just to get it off the lot and then go shopping around for a better rate. But if you're young, motorcycle insurance is not going to be cheap. If possible, get yourself onto, like, your parents' insurance. If you're older and you're out of the house and all that, then, yeah, seriously, do some shopping around. You won't go wrong. Number 6. You are always learning to ride. Look, getting your endorsement license on your bike, all they taught you was how to ride it. All they taught you was how to do a figure 8, how to ride slowly, and do a couple of little things like how to stop the bike and how to just basically use the clutch, the throttle, the brakes in the most basic terms imaginable. It takes years upon years to get to any kind of standard where you can actually say, I am a competent rider. Always be aware of that. And if somebody offers you advice and it's sound advice, then, you know, take it. Don't get into bad habits. Like I said, riding is a lot more of a different thing than there is to driving, than it is to drive. Be careful of that. And always, always be open to learn some more. Practice makes perfect. Which leads me to number 7. Don't get cocky. There are 2 times I've always believed this. There are 2 occasions when a motorcyclist is at his most dangerous. Or her most dangerous. Or the most likely to have an accident or something go wrong. That's when they first start learning to ride. When they're just mastering the clutch. And when they're just learning how it all comes together. And they're nervous and they're overthinking things. That's a dangerous time. But there is another dangerous time. And that's when you think you've got it. And then you start getting cocky. When you start getting cocky, then you start doing stupid things. Always be aware of that. Number 8. It's a completely different kettle of fish from riding a motorcycle from driving a car. Now, you may have got your motorcycle endorsement and you may have been driving for a few years, but it's a completely different set of circumstances. You're looking out for more things than you are in a car when you're on a motorcycle. You're looking out for tar snakes being on the side of the road. You're making sure that traffic know that you're there. You're going to be a lot more aware of what other drivers are doing, because regardless of how much you didn't pay attention to it when you were in the car, you're going to get hurt worse than any driver in any car if you don't pay attention. So you're going to be watching out for a lot more things than you would be in a car. It's a totally different game, totally different kettle of fish. Make sure you're aware of that. Number 9. I don't want to overstate the obvious, but unless you're a girl, you are not going to be the sexiest person alive just because you're riding around on 2 wheels. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. There might be a couple of impressed people, but most of them are going to be fellow riders. Now, what that also means is, you know, don't squid. Girls are not going to be impressed any way that you do it, but they're going to be least impressed when you're rolling around in, you know, that cap on backwards, the dark shades, the wife beater t-shirt, the shorts, the flip-flops and all that. Plus, you're not doing yourself any favours. I mean, that's kind of like 2 into 1 there, but it's just something to be aware of. Don't squid. And finally, number 10 in my list. Things to be aware of. Number 10. Do ride in groups, but don't ride in large groups. If you do ride in a group, try to make sure that there's at least one person who's been riding for a few years who knows what they're doing and can coach you, or at least lead the pack, so that, you know, they slow down when they should be slowing down, accelerate when they should be accelerating, so that, like, you don't really have to think about it that much. You just concentrate on your handling of the machine. I'll give you an example. Shay's learned so much riding with me and her mum. Her mum has learned so much riding from me. I learned so much riding with, like, some pretty good friends back in the a long time ago when I first started riding. So if possible, do try to get yourself, like, riding with a mentor. It'll make your riding a lot more fun, a lot more safe, and you'll always have someone there who'll have your back. Because I tell you what, there are some bollock aches you do not want to suffer with. Well, that's all I've got to say about that. Before I sign off though, I do want to give one small little shout out. My friend Scampy Fry is going to have himself a new bike reveal, and he's bought an awesome machine, so watch out for his video. He's going to reveal it soon. So Scampy, I want that to be a good video. I want it to be the best video going. I don't know, get Ridley Scott to direct it. It's very arty-farty like that. He'll make it look awesome. In the meantime, everyone, you take care of yourselves. And you know, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button, it's just down there. If you like this video, give me the like button. There's some videos hovering around here. In the meantime, you all take care of yourselves. You mind how you go, ride safe. Laters.